What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 8, Selective Memory. So the scene starts off with Melody. And Melody had on her, what hat was it? Team Wife. She had on her Team Wife cap, which is, I guess, like a little shout out to your girl Letitia. So even though she's not a wife, she can definitely support the brand. And so she had on her Team Wife cap, and she was teaching these two young men about property preservation, which is one of the things that Melody is involved with. And so I love to see it when the members of this cast are doing business related things, because in addition to the drama and the trifling mess, I like to see what they actually do in real life, the business end of what they do. So Kimmy pops up and they start having a conversation about Kiki and Tiffany and how short-lived their truce was, as I knew it would be. So Kimmy was telling Melody that at Martell's magazine cover reveal party, Kiki and Tiffany were back at it again. And so, yeah, it's going to take a miracle to get these two people to stop bickering. So then Kimmy talks about, the stuff going on in her home, which is the issues with Monster and how Maurice is not backing her up when she tries to discipline Monster or give him some type of direction. Maurice is MIA. And I guess to make her feel better, Melody told her that, she's looking great. No one could ever tell that she's going through what she's going through, because Kimmy has kept up her appearance. She has kept up her spirits. She's a positive person, and she's not letting this get to her at all. This stuff is not getting her down at all. And Kimmy truly is an inspiration. And whether this was staged or real, I don't know. I don't care. But it was nice to see Melody just give props to Kimmy and to show her love and let her know that, you're going through a struggle, girl, but you're such an inspiration to others, and you're a beacon of light for so many other people. And I just loved that moment. I loved it so much, and they did hug it out. So moving on from there, we have Tiffany. So she invites Stormy over for coffee. Tiffany says that her and Kiki were good until Stormy brought up the text messages. And so Stormy was like, then y'all must not have been good. Y'all were not laying everything out on the table. Y'all were pretending to be good, but there were some underlying issues. And Stormy is the kind of person where she wants to put everything out on the table. And that's what I love about Stormy. She's not here for no fake makeups, fake friendships. She's not here for that. If y'all were really, truly good, then those text messages would either have no effect at all, or those text messages are revealing a crack in your so-called truce or your fake friendship. So then they talk about Sheree and Melody, and Tiffany says that she had a conversation with Sheree at Martell's party, and they're having a conversation about how Melody and Sheree need to meet because Sheree is going to be around Melody's children, and Melody needs to know what kind of woman she is, etc., etc. And I got the feeling that Stormy was kind of looking at her like, what does this have to do with you, girl? So Tiffany says that Melody had been at Sheree's book signing, and Stormy was like, oh, so you're saying that Melody was a fan of Sheree. Now, I don't understand why that is a negative thing if Melody was a fan of Sheree, because aren't they all fans of one another? Don't they all support one another in some way or another? So if Sheree was having a book signing in Huntsville or whatever city it was that Melody happened to be in, and Melody wanted to stop by and have her book signed by her and buy her book and have the book signed by her, I don't see that really as Melody fangirling over Sheree. I just see that as Melody supporting either a friend or supporting another woman who's on a reality TV show. This whole thing of, oh, so you're saying that Melody was a fan of Sheree. There's no beef or animosity between Melody and Sheree. The whole issue is Martell, but somehow or another, we're talking about the two women when it's got nothing to do with them and their relationship. Melody and Sheree are fine. Does Melody need to meet with Sheree because Sheree's going to be around her kids? I don't know. That's not for me to decide. I'm not those kids' parents. I have no idea if she should or if she shouldn't. All I'm saying is that I don't see any issues with Melody and Sheree, and it seems like especially Tiffany is trying to create an issue between Melody and Sheree. So And then plus, this whole thing about does Melody need to meet Sheree? Look, Sheree and Martell, that's a non-issue. This is not a real relationship, okay? I don't think that they are hanging out like that, where, Martell is taking Sheree out on family vacations with him and the kids, and she's spending the night at Martell's house and the kids. I don't think it's a real relationship. If there's any time being spent with Sheree, like a significant amount of time with Sheree and Martell when he's with his children, the cameras are going to be there. It's going to be an opportunity for an opportunity for a scene. It's going to be for a show. I don't think in their real private personal lives. I don't think it's like that. I really don't. I'm not buying the whole Sheree and Martell situation. I don't think Sheree is really around his kids like that. And that's why Martell and Melody too probably don't really give a damn about, oh, Melody and Sheree need to meet because, she's going to be around her kids, because Sheree and Martell is a non-issue. So then Tiffany says, how are you and Melody since the tea party? And Stormy says, well, she hasn't seen Melody at all since the tea party. And Stormy says that she feels justified about her feelings about Melody because Stormy was feeling like Melody was treating her some kind of way after the season wrapped last year. And she had confronted Melody about that at the beginning of this season. And Melody acted like, oh, girl, there was nothing wrong, because she had changed her number. She didn't tell Stormy about it. She wasn't reaching out to Stormy when the season wrapped. And so Stormy always felt like, okay, I'm feeling some kind of something between us and I want to address it, because that's how Stormy is. She does not beat around the bush. She doesn't act like everything is hunky-dory when it's not. If she's feeling some kind of way with somebody, she's going to address it. And Melody wanted to act like, girl, there was nothing wrong. So the fact that Nell Fletcher had brought it up at the tea party, that there was some type of tension between Melody and Stormy. Stormy was like, well, if somebody else sees it, then I'm not crazy. So yeah, I love Stormy. Moving on to Letitia. So she's driving around with her cousin Kiki, and they're talking about messy Tiffany and how Tiffany was talking about Tisha's marriage. And Tisha points out that, Tiffany is hypocritical, because while she's trying to sling mud at her marriage, Tiffany's marriage isn't so perfect, because there's rumors swirling around that Tiffany was cheating on Lewis. And so Tisha's like, well, if she don't stop talking about my marriage, I'm going to have to bring up these rumors to her to shut her up once and for all. And I'm thinking to myself, I really don't buy these rumors at all whatsoever. And the only person that I've heard talk about this is Letitia. I haven't seen no YouTube videos about this. I haven't seen anything on the blogs about. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm going to lean towards, I don't think these rumors are true, that Tiffany is cheating on Lewis. Like, when was she cheating on him? Before she got pregnant? Like, what is going on? I don't know. I don't know about that. And, obviously, if she is cheating on Lewis, then yeah, she does look like a hypocrite, talking about, how Letitia doesn't know where her husband is half the time, and all this other stuff. Then talking about her business, saying that Letitia is an owner in name only, but doesn't really act as the owner of the company. Now, that right there, I'm going to say, I believe that. I mean, I don't... To me, I have questions as well. Okay. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, Letitia doesn't really do nothing for that business, because I don't know. But it doesn't make any sense that if you're the owner, how you got kicked out of your own office. And as far as her marriage, not knowing where her husband is, most of the time spouses don't know where the other one is. That's not a big deal. Who cares if she doesn't know where Marceau is at any given time of the day? Does this mean he ain't cheating? Hell no. But it doesn't mean that he's cheating necessarily just because she don't know where he's at, because some of the times he doesn't know where she's at. It's really no big deal. So, but we know what Tiffany's doing. Tiffany is trying to preserve her spot on this show. She's trying to be extremely controversial because she thinks that is what it takes to be on this show. And she's worried about losing her spot. Now that they've moved in Stormy, and I don't know how the public is liking Stormy. I'm assuming that she is liked in the public. And so Tiffany is feeling threatened, probably probably by Stormy and also by Kiki. So she's trying to keep herself relevant. So let's move on to Tiffany. So she's at the doctor's office with Lewis, and they're getting an ultrasound of their baby. And Lewis brings up, how are you going to fit a newborn into your busy schedule? And Tiffany ain't worried about that. She's like, you know what? I'll take the baby to the office with me. I'll be breastfeeding in between meetings. I'll be doing this and that with the baby right there next to me. So she ain't worried about it. And I'm not worried about it either, because she is like 15 months pregnant and she is still trying to bring drama and mess to the show. And she is carrying all of the drama and all of the mess on her pregnant shoulders. So yeah, if she can keep up with the mess on this show the way she's been doing, as pregnant as she is, then yeah, she'll be fine working in her baby into her busy schedule. Moving on from there, we have Kimmy. So she's at home with Maurice, and Monster comes home, and Monster has really grown the hell up, because I just picture him the way he was, I guess, a couple of seasons ago. Like this little 5th or 6th grader. That's what I keep seeing in my head when I think of Monster. But when he walked into the kitchen, I was like, oh, wow, he has really grown up. So Monster is in boot camp. And I thought he was like in real boot camp. But no, he's in Maurice's boot camp, where he has to wake up at a certain time, get his do his workouts in the mornings, keep up with the schoolwork, etc., etc. So part of Monster's to-do list for this boot camp does not include chores like he needs to do around the house. And this is like a point of contention, an area of contention with Kimmy, because when she does ask him to do his chores, he doesn't listen, or he forgets. And Maurice isn't there to back it up. He isn't there to reinforce what Kimmy is requesting of him. So, she's like, okay, so in that to-do list of his, I don't see chores at all. And her and Maurice have had this conversation before, how Monster does not do his chores when she asks him to. So when they did their boot camp list, chores was not included. So this is very telling. This is more telling of Maurice and Kimmy's marriage than it is of Monster, because it shows that Maurice really doesn't consider Kimmy's wants. He doesn't really, like, she'll talk to him about something that's bothering her and he forgets about it, or he doesn't care about it, because her biggest thing was, I need him to do his chores. And if he's doing everything else on his to-do list for boot camp, if the chores were included, that might help him do his chores. So she confronts Maurice about this, and she's like, well, it just shows that you really don't take into consideration anything that I want or anything that I have to say. I don't know if this whole Monster thing is like a real issue for them, or if this is just made up for the show. I don't know. I don't know that kid, but I was going to say, I don't know. Monster does, with a dad like Maurice and a mom like Kiowa, Monster doesn't really seem like a child who would be disobedient or disrespectful or not do as he's told, but who knows? Moving on to Martell. So he's first meeting up with Marceau, because they have this arrangement that Martell is going to help Marceau lose weight, and Marceau in turn is going to help Martell with his builder's exam. So that's what they're meeting up for initially. And so Martell wanted to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, and also include Tiffany to talk about some event that they're planning or that they're involved in. But he also has a bag full of surprises for Tiffany as well, because he wants to address what she had said to Sheree. So here we go. So what's her name shows up. Tiffany shows up, and he does not beat around the bush. He doesn't waste any time. He starts talking about the information that Sheree had given him. And Martell says to Tiffany that if you brought up me, first of all, he says, you had called me a cheater, and you had asked, Sheree, what is it like to date a cheater? And I am not a cheater. And when he said that, I was like, I know this man did not just say he wasn't a cheater in front of this damn camera. But I guess what he meant was, because he doesn't cheat all the time and he's not currently cheating, he's on hiatus from that, he is not a cheater. He is someone who has cheated. And I'm like, okay, this sounds just like a typical cheater or jerk or whatever. What are you talking about, Martell? What is this? You're splitting hairs. This is just because I'm not currently cheating in front of your eyeballs right now, I am not a cheater. I have cheated. I don't cheat 24 hours a day, but I have cheated in the past, so I'm not a cheater. Okay, Martell, only in your world does this make any sense. So then he says to her, this is like very hypocritical of you, because you have also cheated. Do you consider yourself a cheater? And she was like, okay, yeah, I guess I see your point. And so Tiffany's upset so Marcel was jumping in, being silly. I hate it when there's like a serious scene and Marcel just wants to be silly. I hate it so much. He does this a lot with Letitia. He does this a lot when they're meeting up with the counselor guy who was trying to help the marriage counselor guy. He like was a serious moment. We're having a serious conversation, but then he starts cracking these silly jokes, and it derails the whole entire scene. So he's and he's just happy that he's not involved in any cheating drama or any cheating mess. So he jumps in and says whatever the hell he wanted to say. And Tiffany was upset because, she was saying that this conversation has got nothing to do with Marceau. It's none of his business. And I was like, well, how ironic, hypocritical Tiffany strikes again, because whatever's going on between Sheree and Martell is none of her business either. So Martell brought up about what Tiffany had said, when she had told Sheree, well, maybe you're gonna keep him from cheating because you know how to put it down in the bedroom. And so when Martell said that, Marceau was like, oh my God, you said that. And so what's her name? Tiffany she goes, well, I don't really remember saying that. How could you not? Of course you remember saying that. But now that he's spitting it out back to you, and you see how crass and how gutter you sounded. Oh, now you don't remember saying that. Girl, stand 10 toes deep with what you said. Because, okay, Tiffany's being super messy because she's trying to keep her spot on the show. Fine. But the funny thing is that the things that she was asking Sheree, like, how can you be with someone who's a known cheater? These are the questions that everybody has had on their mind. And I think it was even brought up on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think, Kenya had brought it up about Martell cheating and, how can Sheree want to be with him? And I think Sheree's answer was, well, that's got nothing to do with me because he hasn't cheated on me. So, that's him in the past. That's somebody else's problems, way back when. As far as me and him right now, we don't have those type of issues. So then she tries to clean it up. She tries to, do the whole Jedi mind trick on Martell and try to like put a positive spin on the conversation that she had with Sheree. That was a really messy conversation that they had. It painted Martell in a really bad light. It made Tiffany look really, really bad, like she's involving herself in stuff that's got nothing to do with her. She made Sheree feel so uncomfortable, but she's gonna spin it now and say that what she had taken out of that conversation with Sheree is that Sheree can definitely handle her own, and she's a very strong woman, and that she really does appreciate Martell for who he is. So, Martell, he ain't buying none of that. And so Marceau jumps in again and he calls Tiffany a Karen. And Tiffany was like, why? Because I'm white? and Marceau says, no, it's because you're messy. You're messy as hell. You're trying to break up this relationship. So Martell tells Tiffany as he's leaving, he packs up his books and stuff, and he tells Tiffany, well, you know what? I'm going to have a conversation with Big Lou about this. And Tiffany was like, about what? Yeah, putting me in check. And so Martell was like, no, I'm just going to tell him, what you've been up to and what you've been saying about me. I don't know why. I mean, that to me is sort of like, as if she's going to be in trouble. You want to see if Big Lou's going to, put her on punishment, ground her because she was out there, running amok with her mouth and getting involved in stuff that's none of her business. Like, what do you mean, Martell, by telling him, I'm going to tell Big Lou about this? Like, oh, you're going to be in trouble because I'm about to tell your husband what you've been doing. Martell, this is a grown woman. Okay. I'm pretty sure no matter what you say to Big Lou, this is his wife and he's going to side with her. And I don't think that Tiffany is that kind of woman who's like, oh my God, my husband's gonna find out. I'm gonna be in so much trouble. I don't think Tiffany is that kind of woman. Okay. Now, from what I could tell, because they showed us the teaser for next week, and of course, the way they show us in the teaser is probably not exactly how it's gonna play out in the episode, but it seems as if Tiffany is going to get to Big Lou before Martell does, and she's going to spin it to make herself look like the victim, and Martell and Marcel are going to look like, the big mean men who confronted her and cornered this poor pregnant woman and demanded answers from her. And of course, Big Lou is going to be very defensive of his wife. So Martell, you threatening to tell, like, this is how you see women. You see women as childlike to their husbands, or you see that men are like patriarchal, like they're patriarchal towards their wives, and we're like children to our husbands, and we don't want our husbands to be mad at us, because like the whole thing. I'm gonna tell Big Lou about this. Man, sit the hell down. Okay. No wonder. Oh my God. No wonder Melody left your ass among, Melody left you among a plethora of other reasons of why she divorced you. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Anyways, is there anything else that I need to cover before I end this video? Yeah, Tiffany was just showing her hypocritical self in so many different areas. I don't know if this is going to work for Tiffany. I don't know. If her being this messy, it might backfire on her, because she has no friends, no allies, no nothing. And now Martell is trying to turn her own husband against her so that she won't even have her husband by her side. Anyways, that's all I got to say. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, do not forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.